So today is going to be a more biomechanics oriented class. We're going to work a lot with twisting. And so the reason why this is important for breathing is because your rib cage, your rib basket houses your diaphragm. And the diaphragm is attached to the rib cage in several places. And having good, what's called thoracic mobility, which comes from axial rotation, this movement of the spine, how the spine is moving in accordance with the rib cage is going to have a large impact on the full expression, the full contraction of the diaphragm. So if we want to be recruiting this muscle 360 degrees around to its full, beautiful capacity, we really need to have both strength of that muscle, right? Every muscle that contracts needs to have the strength to do so, but there also needs to be a pliancy and a flexibility, which comes from really working this region. So we're going to play a lot with twisting and thoracic mobility today. So I want to start just by marking it, a little bit of a test to see where we're at. So kind of look where you're sitting on your mat. Like, is it all the way to the front? Is it halfway? Just know where you're sitting. So when we come back at the end, you can remember to be in a similar spot. And then what I want you to do is bring your arms out in front of you, interlace your hands, and just let the pointer fingers steeple out. So Charlie's Angels type of vibe here. And then really feel like the shoulder blades are wrapping around the spine. Plug in your feet. We're not flaring the ribs. We're not dumping back. You're sitting right in the middle of yourself. Take a full breath in. And then on your exhale, rotate to the left without moving your hips or your pelvis. Just see how far you can go. Not forcing, not cranking. We're not going for any pain or overly forceful movement here. Just mark where you are, like see where you're pointing, what thing in the room or what thing out the window you're pointing at, and then come back to center. Take a full breath in here. And then on the exhale, rotate the other way to the right. And again, maybe you've noticed you can move more this way, maybe less, but just sort of mark where you can point to. So right at the beginning of class, what is the degree of axial rotation of thoracic mobility? Come back to the center and then let that go. Just let the arms swing and start to roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. So keep that in your mind's eye. Remember that, and we'll come back to that. Good. All right, let the shoulders relax down. Sweep the arms up. When you reach up, let the palms face each other. Go down through the left foot, left buttock bone, reach up through the right hand. Find a breath on that diagonal. Good. Then right foot, right buttock bone, left hand. Find a breath on that diagonal and see if it can be really front to back, not just top to bottom. Good. And then both feet, both buttock bones, both hands, reach them up. And then on the exhale, flexion of the elbows, flexion of the wrists, grab a hold of opposite hand to opposite elbow. Take a breath in here. And then on the exhale, let the arms fan back and around. Catch them at the bottom. Inhale up. Exhale, let them fan out and around. And each time you catch, maybe catch the opposite forearm in front. And we're just going to go through it like this a few times. Good. Maybe two more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Keep the length at the sides of the waist when you let the arms come back down and around. Good. All right, now this time arms sweep up and out. Catch at the top. Exhale down with the frame. Keep the collarbones wide. Inhale, big coronal plane. Catch at the top. Exhale it down. Maybe three more times this way. Again, let the length at the sides of the waist remain even though the frame is flipping to come down now. Really nice. Good. And then the next time you're here at the bottom, keep it there. Pull the frame apart, go from the left elbow to the right collarbone, right elbow to the left collarbone, and then keep a plug at the feet, a plug at the seat, go up and down with the frame connected. Inhale up, exhale down. No need to go fast. You can keep it really slow. If you do feel maybe a little tired this morning and you want to go a little bit faster, that's fine. Again, the speed of breath, the depth of breath is going to determine really the energetics, the state change of the body. If you go faster and you go bigger, it'll be more energizing. If you go slower and lighter, it'll be more calming. So you can really choose how you play it. Keep the head right in the middle of the frame, vision out at the horizon, not dropping the chin down. Good. Switch the frame at the bottom, do a few with that awkward forearm on top. Just notice what that feels like in the shoulder girdle to do the unhabitual frame. Nice, really pretty, Wendy. Good, and then bring that down one more time, just roll the shoulders up and back and down. All right, if you have a second block, just put it out to your right. You could also just put your fingertips on the floor if you don't have one, that's fine too. Hands on that block. Plug down to the left foot, left seat, and then reach the left arm up, out, and over. Try not to collapse here on the right side. Keep some space. Find the pinky finger of this right hand, and then from there, spiral the armpit forward. Let the right side of the rib cage move a little bit forward so the vision is just slightly up and out here. Yeah, so nice, Doug. Really good. Plug into that left buttock bone a little bit more. Reach out through the left ring finger a little bit more. Spiral both armpits in towards the heart. Yes, that's it. And then exhale, come back to center. Hopefully the left side feels a little bit longer than the right. Switch it, fingertips to the left. I have my block on the second highest height. If you're sat up higher, you might take it higher. And then right buttock bone, right foot plugs in. From that anchor, reach the right arm up, out, and over. And I say up, out, and over quickly, but really do that. Up, out of yourself, and then over. Keep a levity in these left fingertips. Really plug in the pinky finger, and that should send a reverberation to spiral the armpit, external rotation all the way towards the heart. Do the same thing with the right arm, and then it's like the left ribs come around a little bit so the chest is beaming out towards 2 o'clock. Yes, that's it. Full breath into the right lung. Good, and then come back to the middle. All right, you can put the block behind you now. It's maybe second highest height or highest height, depending on how many blocks you have under you. Sweep both arms up, get long. So axial extension, and then on the exhale, right hand to the left knee, left hand to the block behind the sacrum. And so we did a little twist already. Let's use the lower body to get around ourselves a bit more. Make the motion like you're throwing the right knee forward and see how that brings the right shoulder, right ribs around. So this whole right side comes around to open you up to the left. And then you get a little taller on every inhale. And on the exhale, sort of relax into the twist so nothing is forced or crunching. Find the pinky side of both hands, let the collarbone spread wide. And then breathe slow enough to fill all the way to the bottom of the left lung. Yeah, lift the chin just a little bit, not to throw the head off the spit, but just to give you a little perking up. So the pubic bone and the chin, make more space between those 2 points. And then come back to center. Sweep the arms up. Get long, get tall. Keep the length at the sides of the waist as you twist left hand to the right knee, right hand to the block behind you. Throw the left knee forward. Use it as the gas pedal to send the left ribs, left shoulder around. And then find the collarbone spreading apart. Maybe the vision starts to twist as well, but it's all happening from below. Let the armpits, again, spin in towards the heart. So the frame, even though it's twisting now, it's a revolution, it's still broad. Think about the left knee to the right armpit. Pull them apart. Good. Right buttock bone, right foot to the left armpit. Pull them apart. And then slow, easy breath into that right lung. Keep the jaw soft, tongue to the roof of the mouth. Come back to the middle. Nice. Hopefully this feels a little bit opened up, then we can change our orientation to gravity. So remove what you're sitting on. Before we come on to our hands, let's just check in with the feet a little bit. Tuck the toes underneath you. Sit on your heels. So we want to have a really good anchor as well as when we're weight bearing on the arms eventually. We want to keep some emphasis in the lower body so it's not all dumping here in the top of the frame, which will actually end up closing up the lungs. So give yourself a little bounce. Make sure the inner heels are yearning together. Think about getting a right angle at the sole of the foot. The the hips are over the heels, the shoulders are over the hips, and the ears are over the shoulders. Yeah, so you can put a block underneath your knees or between your buttock bones and your heels. Good. Lift the chest just a little bit more, Paige. Sternum up. Yes. Good. Nice, KJ. All right, and then let that go. Just find the fingertips lightly so you can point the toes, sit on your heels without a block. Very light touch of the fingertips to the mat or blocks beside you. Lift one knee and then the other. And you can see like my torso, it's not caving forward. It's not leaning back to take the onus off of the feet. I'm just keeping the frame open. I'm looking forward. I'm just lifting one knee at a time. Yeah, good. Maybe some of you will be able to do both at the same time. Just be careful that you don't close down that frame too much and don't get too heavy-handed. Notice what's happening in the face and to your breath as you do this. Is it hitching? Is it going stagnant? Are you holding the breath? Good. And then keep the feet down. Just crawl the hands forward out to a table, and you can drum out the feet a little bit. And then plug them in. Use that to lift up off of yourself. Find the index finger mounds. Cross-reference that to the outer heel of the hand, outer wrist. Find the pinky finger mounds, cross-reference that to the root of the thumb, and that should give you a really stable shoulder joint side to side to spread the collarbones and keep your vision looking slightly out. Start a cat-cow just at the tail, just a little bit at the tail. Go all the way down to the pelvis, go to the basement, and then it's like every time the rhythm completes, you add another notch of the spine. And so eventually the thoracic spine becomes involved. And then eventually the cervical spine becomes involved. And eventually it's a full extension, full flexion, matching the breath to the movement. Now we're working towards fall and winter here. We're in a different season than summer. So if you want to add on that ujjayi breath, that little constriction of the glottis at the back of the throat, add a little bit of texture to the breath. That might be soothing. Might warm you up if you're a little cold. So it's the time of year when that becomes more appropriate. But remember, it's not a breath that should shake the walls or really sound like Darth Vader. It's a very personal little ocean sound. Go for texture, not for a loud noise. Do about 3 to 5 more. Feel like each side of the spine is lengthening equally. Each buttock bone is reaching back equally. Each side of the chin is reaching forward equally, but not first. It's a real crescendo to the rest of the movement. And then find a neutral spine. Take one of those blocks and put it between your feet. So you have just a little bit of awareness behind you, which will help you to not shift the pelvis left to right. Pop up onto the fingertips. You're welcome to stay with that ujjayi breath if you like. Find the right foot to the left hand and then plug in the left foot. Let the right arm just dangle. Keep everything knitted in towards the spine. Inhale to lift the right arm out and up. Don't let the hips sway with you. Send the coccyx straight back. Exhale, reach underneath the left arm. So inhale, up. Exhale, revolve. So in the twist, when we were seated, we were rotating the thorax, keeping everything stable. We're doing the same thing. We're just changing the orientation to gravity. Next time you reach under, let the right shoulder plant in the middle of the mat. Let your right ear come right in front of that. And then walk your left hand further out to the left so you have a nice bend in the elbow and you're keeping the left collarbone wide. Hug the block with your inner feet. Send the coccyx straight back. You want to feel like you have space in this left lung and that the right shoulder blade is really wrapping around to reach the right hand out to the left. You could crawl the left fingertips forward and above you so that the left ear can find itself in line with the left inner arm, left bicep. You can spin that left armpit towards the heart. So still the shoulder blades are wrapping wide. Still everything is revolving in towards center. And you can start to take some nice breaths into the left lung, front to back. Good. Doug, get a little bit longer in your spine. Move your head a little bit further forward so that it's a full lengthening. Yeah, really nice. That's it, Paige. Nice, Hanya. These all look great. Wendy, think that the 2 bottom ribs just knit a little bit up towards the spine. You'll feel the breath a little bit more in the back of the kidneys. Yeah, that's it.
take one more full breath. Can you let it be slow and quiet? Let that go. Bring the left hand underneath the left shoulder. Press yourself up. Reach the right arm up. And then right hand comes back down. And just find a neutral table. Close the eyes. Take a breath in. Do you notice any difference in the musculature left to right in the thorax? And then find the fingertips again. Plug in the left foot to the right fingertips, then plug in the right foot. Feel how the belly knits back. Coccyx doesn't move left to right as you reach the left arm up on an inhale. And then exhale, thread the needle underneath the right arm. You can give that right elbow a little bend. Do that about 3 times. Inhaling, exhaling again. If you're a little cold this morning, you could stay with that ujjayi breath, or if the brain feels a little frazzled and disoriented, it's also a nice breath for focus. That's it. Starting to work the lungs, work the breath. And then next time you come through, left shoulder right in the middle of the mat, left ear right in front of it. Walk the right fingertips a little out to the right so you have a nice bend in this right elbow, but it's a scaffolding to keep the right collarbone open, make space in the top of the right lung. Send the outer hips back, send the crown of the head forward. Start to find the breath front to back in the right lung now. If you like, you can walk the right fingertips forward and above the head, spinning the right armpit towards the heart. So both shoulder blades are wrapping wide. You might even feel this breath in the back of the heart space between the shoulder blades, the sea of forgiveness. If your teeth are touching, just separate them a couple millimeters. Find the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Keep the pressure in the container concealed internally. With this different orientation to gravity, the diaphragm has to work a little bit harder to contract, so it's also a nice strengthening exercise as well as a pliancy one. Take one more breath. Find it slow and find it wide and voluminous in that right lung. And then bring the right hand underneath the right shoulder. Find the feet to lift yourself up. Reach that left arm up. And then bring the left hand down. Plug the palms in all 4 corners. Close the eyes. Take a breath in. Notice what you notice. Good. And you could keep or remove that block. We're going to work a round of breath holds and cat and cow here. If you find that you get a little unstable or tend to dump in the knees, you could keep that block behind you. It just brings the awareness back there. So from your nice neutral measured table, you'll take a breath in, spinal extension, pubic bone back between the inner thighs, chest through the arms. Exhale, round it from the tail to the ground. Just a neutral exhale. Don't squeeze everything out. And then hold the breath empty and move through your cats and your cows until you feel a definite desire to breathe in. Doesn't have to be your strongest, longest breath hold in the world. You could just go to a lighter air hunger as well. If you're feeling a little bit tired today, that would be fine. Otherwise, you just want to get that sensation of, oh, I definitely need to breathe in. And then when that happens, you find a neutral spine. Tiny breath in, tiny breath out. Sink it back to child's pose or virasana. You want to take 6 tiny breaths in and out. Minimize the breath for 6 breaths to prolong the hypercapnia, to prolong the heightened CO2 in the blood and in the lungs. And then you let that natural nasal breath come back to you. And if child's pose or virasana is just simply not a comfortable resting position for you, find one that is. Maybe it's just propping yourself up on your elbows. We want the recovery to feel easy. We want it to feel relaxing. And we want to completely recover before we step into another round of breath holding. Some of you will need longer to recover than others, and that's fine. We all have a different tolerance to carbon dioxide, which is what gives us that stimulus to breathe in. When you do feel ready for another round, that could be in another 30 seconds, so no rush. Again, it's a breath in and a breath out, not a squeeze, just a breath to what's called functional residual capacity. And then hold the breath. Stay in the hands and stay in the feet. When we hold the breath on an exhale, we don't have the intra-abdominal pressure created from an inhalation, so we need to stabilize the spine from below. Once you feel that definite desire to breathe in, maybe you push it a little bit more this time, maybe not. When you feel that, just find that neutral spine. Minimize the breath for 6 breaths. So for some of you, that'll feel like a breath an inch in and an inch out of the nasal cavity. We want the breath to feel challenging, maybe even slightly alarming in those 6 little breaths, because that is what's really adapting us to those higher levels of carbon dioxide. Our bodies are telling us, I need to breathe in. I kind of want to hyperventilate. I really want to breathe. And your brain is saying, no, I'm calm. I'm cool. I'm collected. Even in the presence of physiological stress, I can keep my head on straight. I can keep my breath easy. I can really control what's going on. And then those 6 little breaths morph into a full nasal breath. Try to keep it quiet. Try to keep it light. Try to keep it slow. We want to recover completely so the breath feels easy going into the final 3rd round of breath holding. Take your time. We'll do one more round. And really, even though this isn't a very biochemistry-oriented class, what this is doing is all of that CO2 built up is really opening up the airways. CO2 is a vasodilator. It's a bronchodilator. That means the smooth muscle that innervates the lungs and the trachea and the throat is going to dilate as a result of adding more CO2 to the mix. So while it's a biomechanics-oriented class, this is going to allow some opening of the airways from the inside, not just from the musculature that we can control. Like, we can't with our brains contract smooth muscle. It's not how it works. But we can do that by playing with the exchange of gases. So go for one more round. If you've been doing them fast and recovering fast, you might have time for a 4th, but don't push it. It's not the focus today. We just want to open up the airways a little bit. Don't forget the 6 tiny breaths when you end. That's very important. And if you need to use a tissue, if you find that the dilation is actually creating some snot, like, please blow it out. Don't swallow it back in. It's not what we want to be doing. And then after your last round, see if you can get to a point where you're relaxing, you're restoring, you're recovering, but it's not with a heavy, audible breath. You're actually able to find a light and slow breath. And it might be a little tricky at first. It might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but eventually it's really calming. Because when we're breathing less and we're breathing slower, that's signaling to the nervous system that we're okay, that we're safe. There's no threat we need to be running from. Good. Make sure to soften the jaw. The teeth are separated unless we're chewing. And the tongue finds the roof of the mouth not with a big press, but just like fitting yourself. It's going to keep the upper airway more open, make it easier to breathe through the nose. All right, from your child's pose, crawl your fingertips all the way forward so your elbows come off the mat. Maybe the chest lifts a little bit, but you stay anchored in the buttock bones. And then from the left foot, left buttock bone connection, walk your hands over towards the right. Think about where you feel it, and if it's like a forceful, stressful thing, like maybe you've gone too far. Like, not every pose has to be like squeezing every single drop of juice from the lemon. Like, you don't need sometimes that much. We just want to be lengthening the left side more than the right without collapsing in the right side. Let the neck be easy. Let the back of the head be broad. It's Halloween season, like a vampire wearing its cape with its little collar. Like, think about the back of the head being wide like that. Again, separate the teeth. It's such a habitual thing to keep them closed together. Breath into the front and back of the left lung. 3-dimensional, not flat like paper. And then think about now activating the right foot. locating the right buttock bone connected to the right heel, and then use that to start walking yourself out through the middle and then over to the left. And just notice over here, is it a different sensation in this side? Like, we use our bodies pretty asymmetrically throughout the day. It might feel easier for you to reach over this way if you're right-handed, because we're used to dominating with the right side. Let the breath be easy. Don't force it into the body. Just let that pressure differential from the outside atmosphere and your internal environment just exchange in the way your body intelligently knows how to do. You're changing the physical shape of your body to direct the breath to a different place, but you don't need to force it or pack it in. Let everything above the neck feel unburdened, softer, subtler. And then walk yourself back to the middle. And then start to walk yourself all the way forward and come onto your belly. Okay? Just stack your hands underneath your head for a moment. Pick up your right leg, reach it all the way back, and then set it down. Do the same thing with the left. So you're making more space in the lower spine, more space in the front of the hip. And really being prone like this, you can feel the predominantly vertical muscle fibers in the front of the diaphragm expanding onto the mat beneath you. Sometimes we do those diaphragmatic push-ups, and you can really feel like if you're taking a full breath in, you are pushing the thorax up off of the mat with the strength of your diaphragm. So it's not only an exercise of awareness, but if you work it, it can be a strengthening exercise as well. Okay. So bring your left elbow out like a cactus to your left. Let the elbow just be slightly above the shoulder, and then turn onto your left ear and prop up onto your right fingertips. And all you're going to do is press yourself over onto that left side body. The right leg can stack on top of the left. If you need a little bit more, it can go behind the left leg. If you need even a little bit more, but again, we're not forcing it, you could step on the right foot behind the left leg. Well, that's a little too much for me, so I'm just going to keep my right leg behind my left. And I'm going to think about keeping this right collarbone open as I move the front of my right hip sort of away from my right armpit. And then I'm going to feel that in the left side of my chest. So now I'm using the lower body to twist instead of keeping the lower body stable and twisting with the torso. Let the head be heavy. And then we want to feel like we can direct the breath where the sensation is in the body. Let that be the target of the breath where you feel this the most. Is your jaw clenched? Are your teeth pressed together like you really need to focus on it? Or can you relax through the right shoulder blade a little bit, but still keep a buoyancy in the right elbow? Maybe you need to swish the tongue around the teeth a few times. Let the head relax on the mat, KJ. Yeah. Good. Find the index finger mound root of the thumb of the left hand, and then send the left elbow energetically out wide. So good. And then gently come back onto the belly. It should feel different left to right. And we'll switch sides. So now the right elbow will be cactus, elbow just slightly above the shoulder. Gaze to the left so the right ear is on the mat. Prop up onto the left fingertips, buoyancy in the left elbow, and then press yourself onto the right side. And again, we're asymmetrical. This side might feel different, tighter, looser. Lara, bring your left hand a little bit more underneath your left elbow. You'll be able to feel like you can lift out of that left collarbone more. Yeah. That's it. And then again, you can really control the intensity here by what you're doing with this top left leg. Is it reaching behind the right leg?
Are you stepping on the foot, on the gas pedal? Don't just go 0 to 60. Like, use the breath to open it up. Send the breath where you feel it. And it's like every exhale gives you a little bit more pliancy, gives you a little bit more give in the torso, in the chest. Take another 2 breaths. See how slow they can be, how patient they can be. Find the root of the right index finger, right thumb, send the right elbow out wide. Think about space between the collarbones. The bigger the container, the broader the container, more space for the breath. And then come back onto the belly. For a moment, just stack the hands underneath the head, wiggle the hips left to right. And now when you take a breath here, like this little diaphragmatic push-up, maybe it feels a little wider, a little bit more open. There's more space, there's more levity, and you actually get a better contraction here to give you more lift up off of the mat. Let the forehead find the mat. Just let the hands come underneath the shoulders. Hug the inner elbows towards the spine. Press yourself back to a child's pose. So after opening up, fold it in. Take a moment here. Take a breath into the back line of the body after finding a lot of sensation in the front. And then look forward, tuck the toes, swipe your buttock bones up the wall behind you, and find your first little dog pose. It might be shorter than you're used to, and that's okay for now. Just pedal out the feet a little bit. If the heels graze the ground, that's okay. Still think that there's a levity in the buttock bones, so the heels are just dropping down from that lifting up, not just jamming the back of the knee straight. Maybe you swish the hips a little side to side, again, getting into the side body, innervating between the rib spaces. Good. And then look forward, stay in the feet, walk the hands forward to a proper plank measure. So the wrists are under the shoulders. The heels are over the balls of the feet. Now we're really, really weight bearing in the arms. Don't let it just be in the upper body. Go back behind you. Use that as a reaction to pull the crown of the head further forward. Get lighter in the pose because we're really hugging the core in, the belly in. The breath might automatically go wider here. So feel that lateral expansion. And then on your exhale, find a proper dog pose. Send the outer hips up and back. Bend the kneecaps towards the mat. Lift the top of the hamstring up towards the buttock bone. Spiral the armpits in without losing the plug of the index finger mound. And then stay in the feet again. Your inhale brings you forward to plank pose. Your exhale swipes you up and back to dog pose. And just do that a few times, flossing the shoulders, but staying in the feet. Staying in the feet. Yeah, nice, KJ. Good. Nice, Wendy. Wendy has a block between her upper thighs, which can really help keep you in the legs. Good. Nice, Lara. All right, next time you're in a dog pose, stay here. Find the left foot. That's the anchor. Look forward, step the right foot forward nice and quietly. Where the knee ends, the ankle belongs. And we really want to get a right angle here. Armpit is like a little cap, a little mushroom cap on the knee. They fit each other. Lift, find some helium in the back leg. Go down to the left ball of the foot. Use that to drive the right knee forward. Open up the space of the torso. And then from you moving forward and anchoring back, the left knee just comes down right where it is. Ooh, if you've been riding a bike like me, it's a bit sensational. All right. Squeeze an imaginary block between the thighs and just notice how that brings your pubic bone, coccyx to the middle and puts your hips on their right sides. Lighten the hands. Just come forward to come up without moving the hips back, like a big sunrise. Yes. Take your hands to your hips. Give them a little squeeze together. Swipe the left side of the sacrum wide. Find the ball of the right foot and then move the whole thing forward. Yeah. Arms reach up. Make cups with the hands. From the left hip moving wide, reach up through the right palm. From the right butt going back behind you, reach up through the left palm. And see, even if you can find a breath towards the backs of the ribs so that you're not just dumping everything forward, going all the way around the rib cage. Yeah. Lift the left hand just a little bit more, Hanya. Yes. Good. All right, now make 2 fists. Get punchy. Have a trajectory to grow longer in the front body as you bring it down. Knee to armpit again. Okay. From here, right arm on the inside of the right leg. You can keep the toes tucked or you can point them. I find the tuck of the toes gives me a little more oomph. Now, walk the right hand over towards the left, but keep this left inner knee hugging in like a bookend. Hug an imaginary block with the right thigh. Move the pubic bone forward. Left arm can become light. You're just on your spit to start. You're kind of gazing down to start. Let the right inner knee give you the right outer shoulder, right rib cage coming around to open you up into the twist. Think about the right hip crease swiping back, sticking your right buttock bone back, and sending the right inner knee forward to bring you around. Get light on the bottom shoulder, light in the bottom fingertips. And then think collarbones here, finding a now vertical north to south, but they're broad. They're not hunched together. Yeah. Hanya, it looks a little acute in the right knee. I think you can walk your right foot forward just a titch. And then Lara, look at your right toes. Where are they pointing? Point them forward. That's it. Move the whole thing forward, KJ, and then you just finish it, spinning the left palm forward. Maybe the left arm comes over the ear, and then between the shoulder blades, a little bit of a back bend. At any point, you should be able to lift the right hand. Yes, that's it. Find the left pinky toe on you. Don't let everything dump into the right hip. There you go. All right, and then swim it back around. Yeah. Keep your mouth closed. Breathe through your nose. Lift the back thigh. A little drive-by back into Parsvottanasana. Right big toe mound plugs in. Crawl the hands forward. Stay connected. Right buttock bone moves out and back. Move your butt to the left. Drop the head. Take a breath into the back of the right leg like it's another lung. Let it go. And then right knee comes back into the armpit. Wrists under the shoulders. Plank pose. Breath in here, side to side, wide, wide, wide. Stay in the feet. And then exhale, up and back, down dog. Ooh, it should feel really different in the corners of the frame. Close the eyes, take a breath in. Notice what you notice between the right and the left side. Where is there more space, buoyancy, levity, prana flowing? What is still maybe a little closed down? All right, right foot is now the anchor. Look forward, left foot steps forward. Get your full leg's length. And then lift the back thigh. Crawl the hands forward. You're not weight bearing on them. They're just there for a little balance. Move your butt to the right. Stick the left outer hip back. Let the left inner knee move forward. From this length, so nice, Doug. Let the right knee descend just lightly. It should be like a little allergic to the mat. Like you can lift it anytime. Good. Hug that imaginary block. It really helps to bring the onus of the pose from below, keep the foundation below, so it's just a levity bringing you up. Yeah. Nice, KJ. Take your thumbs together on this one. Lift up through the backs of the palms. Take a breath into the backs of the lungs. And then lift up through the heel of the hand. Let the chest move forward. Take a breath into the front of the lungs. And then lift up through the pinky finger side of the hand and spin the armpits towards the heart. Take a breath wide, side body's lengthening. And find the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Go for that 360-degree breath. Keep moving forward, Lara. And find your back foot, Doug, even more. If it helps you to put the top of the foot down, if you can get more grip that way, more surface area, do that. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Separate the hands. 2 fists. Find the front body getting longer to deliver you back down. You'll fit yourself better. All right. Left arm on the inside of the left leg. What does your left knee do? Does it just go its own way, or can you keep it hugged in? Left hand to the right. So if you look at me from the front, there's another triangle created here. All right, look down, look forward. Move your butt to the right. Hug the left inner knee to the left outer shoulder. Right arm becomes loose, easy. And then from the left knee, bringing the left shoulder around to the middle. The whole left side of the rib cage comes around to open you up to the right.
Do your fingertips go, do they line up with your ankle or your toes?
You know, I think you could play with that. I find reaching a little bit more out towards the diagonal so they're in line with the arch of my foot feels comfortable for me. If you are walking it back, you just might notice that the left side can become maybe more congested. So I find walking them out from the diagonal, like if they start in line with my left heel, I try to walk them towards the arch of my foot so that I can keep the left side of my body open as well. But you look like you could even step your left foot forward a little bit more. Like, don't let that block disable the length from foot to foot. Here too, Laura, let your toes point forward. Yeah, there you go. And then the left side is going to come around as you move your right butt to the right. So you're opening up to the right, and your right butt has to keep going that way too. Right arm comes over the ear, you get more length. Think about the space between the collarbones. Right arm spins in. That's it. Little back bend, KJ, center of the shoulder blades. Yes. There you go. And then drape yourself around. Put your hands on right. Lift your back thigh. Move your butt to the right. From the left big toe anchoring, left buttock bone moves up and back. Drop the head, open up the whole right set of hamstrings. Light on the hands, move them forward, move them wide, give the head a little shake, yes and no. Full breath into that third lung at the back of the left leg. Let it go. And then move the front knee forward. Keep your mouth closed as you transition. Plank pose. Nice and wide with the breath. Find the feet. Move it a little more forward, Laura. Yes. And then exhale back to down dog. Close your eyes, take a moment to feel that breath in and out. And then bring the knees down. Find a child's pose. Again, child's pose is a little check-in. How are you folding? How are you fitting? You could stack the hands underneath the head if you needed, or put a block there. Otherwise, maybe hands come alongside the body. Like a little soft shell turtle, take a breath. Permeate all the way across the back line of the body. The goal is for the breath to become more subtle, but at the same time, more profound, deeper. Okay. When you're ready, hands crawl forward so that you feel that opening from the outer hip to the outer armpit. And then plant the palms, drop the elbows, lift the butt. Plug into the feet so nothing's just dumping down towards the mat. Hug the inner elbows and the thumbs toward each other so you stabilize across the shoulder girdle. And then stay in the feet. Bring the chest just between the fingers, index fingers. As the inner elbows hug in, take a breath in here. Slide it forward to high cobra. If you measured well, the wrists are right underneath the shoulders. Plug in the inner edges of the hands. Let the collarbones move wide. Send your antenna up to transmit and receive. Yes. And then tuck your toes. Transition back to downward facing dog. And then
Just take stock. Left foot, right hand. Right foot, left hand. Every time you come back, I want the frame to feel bigger. Spiral the armpits in. Lift the tail up and back. Okay. Left foot is your anchor. Right foot steps you forward. Lunge. Nice, Lara. Good. Lift that back thigh. If your back heel is dragging back, so is your butt. Send yourself forward. Plug into the gas pedal of the foot. Yeah. And then the left knee comes down. Oh. From the plug of the back foot. Yeah, nice, Paige. Okay. Come forward to come up. Think about the frame. It's an asymmetrical thing that's happening in the lower body. Can you still think about broadening the frame corner to corner? All right, right hand to the right knee. Get really long in this left side. The precursor to the twist is opening the whole left side. And then use your left elbow to guide you around. It's not elbow to knee. Go further than that. Armpit to knee is the goal. If you're getting stuck in the tricep, it's a part of the torso, part of the back that's not open enough yet. And it will come with time. So we don't want to force it and push ourselves through it, but we do want to create the conditions, more space to fit ourselves. Left hand is a fist. I like to take my right thumb to my right hip crease and just move it back a little bit. And at the same time, right inner knee moves forward. And then my right hand is a little cap, a little mitt on the ball of the left fist. Crown of the head forward. Vision looking down to start. From the plug of the back foot, the plug of the left fist, you spin around. Again, the whole left side has to come around now. So it's from below. Again, if it's hugging a little block between the thighs, that really helps you get more levity, freedom in the torso. If it's the thought of finding the pinky toe side of the foot, if it's the thought of broadening the collarbones, like what cue translates to your brain that creates it easier to breathe in the pose, makes it easier to breathe in the pose. That's it, Doug. Just relax your jaw. Let your face be soft. Flutter your lips. Let it go. Nice, KJ. Again, a little back bend between the shoulder blades. Yes. And then come back around. Armpit meets the knee. That pose is so good for breathing biomechanics. You're opening up the hip flexors. Bye, Lara. Bye, Doug. Do the other side. And you're also getting this thoracic rotation, this thoracic mobility that creates a pliancy in the torso, giving the rib cage more flexibility to let the diaphragm have a bigger contraction. All right, lift the back leg. Step it back to plank pose. Take a breath in here. Find your feet. Pull it apart. And then exhale back. Down dog. And when we come back from the first side, the down dog should feel a little lopsided. Let's do the other. Left foot steps forward. Left inner knee goes forward as the left outer hip anchors back. Find the right ball of the foot, lift through the back thigh to give you more space, more contact torso to thigh. Like you might need to move the left side of your torso further along your thigh when you do that. And then bring the right knee down. And then send yourself up. Get length in the sides of the body. Soften the jaw as you do it. Left hand to left knee, a little bit more space on this whole right side, and then use the elbow. You're folding the paper at the corners. So right armpit, left knee, fist with the right hand, look forward. The chin is kind of centered over the right shoulder now. Left hip crease moves back to move your right butt to its own side, and you move the left knee forward. Left hand is a mitt. Let the collarbones spread apart. Get out of this bottom shoulder by lifting up, punching up into the left hand. Spin yourself around. If you're right-handed, this might be the easier twist for you. Think about the left hip crease to the right armpit. Pull those points apart by sending the left knee forward. Right outer hip moving wide. Left elbow reaching up. Eventually, the right eye looks up at the ceiling. Yes. Hanya's lifted her back leg. Let that elbow point straight up. Don't let it drag back. Nice, KJ. Okay. One more breath in. Full left lung, front to back, top to bottom, side to side. And then bring yourself around. You just switch which armpit is fitting the knee. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Lift the back thigh. Step it back to plank pose. Breath in here. Exhale, down dog. Close your eyes, take a breath in. Let the belly roll over the tops of the thighs, opening this front body. Left armpit, right hip crease. Right armpit, left hip crease. And then shift it forward. Knees come down. Point the toes. Child's pose. Let the hands come back by the side bodies. If that's comfortable, you might need a block underneath you. And then wiggling the tail side to side should have a reverberating effect so that you end up rocking the head side to side, massaging the forehead. So instigating the movement from below, but because we're a tensegrity structure, it reverberates all the way to the third eye. Lovely. And then plug in the feet, nose forward, chin forward, reach up. Little check-in here. Right hand, left knee, left hand to the sacral plate. Right knee throws forward. Open yourself up to the left. Collarbones wide. Take a breath here. I've already done this today in several iterations. Sweep the arms forward, come back to center. On the exhale, left hand, right knee, right hand to the sacrum. Left knee moves forward to bring the left rib cage around. Collarbones spread wide. Just let it be easy. Don't force it. Good. Arms sweep up again. Reach up. And then exhale, bring them back down. Roll the shoulders up and back and down. Okay. Find your fingertips, cross your shins behind you, sit behind yourself, bring your legs out in front of you. If you have a ponytail or something underneath your head, just take it out, and then lay down on your back with your knees bent. When you get here, rock your head a little side to side, let the head be heavy, and bring your feet as wide as your mat. Start to rock your knees side to side. Feel really nice for the sacroiliac joints, but also in a moment here when we linger in each side, it's actually a nice stretch for the sides of the diaphragm, sort of front sides of the diaphragm. So let the knees just knock over towards the right. Hook the right outer ankle on the left outer knee, and then reach the left arm up. Send the left kneecap down towards the center of the mat as you reach up through the left ring finger. Give the feet both a little bit of dorsiflexion just to protect the knees. Separate the teeth. Let the breath just flood in. Don't force it down. Your body knows exactly what to do. And slide that left arm back down. Unhook the right foot over the knee. Slosh your knees over towards the left. This side might feel different. Left outer ankle on top of the right outer knee. Dorsiflex the feet. Reach down and out through the right kneecap and send the right arm up in the opposite direction. Really nice anti-sitting stretch as well. Let the face be soft. Let the nose just be a permeable membrane for the breath to flood down and into the bottom of the lungs. And slide the right hand back down, unhook, knees back to the center. Keep the feet wide, just pigeon toe them, knock the knees in towards one another. Place the hands down near the pelvic belly. Untuck the shoulder blades. Find a little bit of that 3-part breath. Inhaling first towards the belly,
Keep inhaling, let the ribs broaden side to side. Let the inhale crescendo up towards the chest, the collarbones, and then one continuous exhalation. So belly, ribs, chest. When the breath comes into the rib basket, the belly will naturally hollow in and back a little bit. Let it be smooth and easy. Don't let the breath hitch. And then eventually 3 parts meld into one continuous filling from bottom to top. Maybe you even feel a little broadening of the shoulder blades along the back body. Again, a 3-dimensional breath, moving you in all directions, expanding your sphere of influence out beyond your skin. Two more just like that. And then heel toe the feet back together. From the hinge of the hips, hug the knees into the chest. Little rock side to side. And then roll over onto your side of choice and just take a beat there, take a breath there. No rush to get up. And eventually you'll slide yourself up. Come back to a seat in the same place you started. So remember where you sat with your block to begin. Set up the same way. We're going to do that little check-in. Sit in the middle of yourself. Hopefully that feels a little easier to find after going all the way around. The sense of center may be more implicit and intuitive. Arms out in front of you. Interlace. Let the index finger steeple in front of you. Charlie's Angels. From the plug of the feet, go up to the crown of the head. Take a breath in. On the exhale, rotate without moving the pelvis over to the left. Are you able to rotate a little bit further? Are you able to expand your capacity? Come back to center. Breath in here. Let it go wide and full as you get tall at the same time. On the exhale, rotate over towards the right. I am definitely rotating more. I hope you guys are too. So without moving the pelvis, what is our capacity? Come back to center. And then send those index fingers up above you. Get so long in the sides of the waist, spin the armpits in, close the eyes. Take a moment to just gather all of your energy towards the plumb line. Let everything come in, up and out, down and through. And then breathe fully around that axis. And then exhale, let the arms just rain down around you. Palms can face up on the lap. Soften that jaw. Just notice what you can notice, collect what you need to collect, and discard what you need to discard. If it doesn't serve you, leave it here. Hands to the center of the heart, palms touch. Take one more breath in just for you, like a little pedestal, a baseline for your day that you can always come back to. And then let it go. Namaste. Thank you all